This is a little extra help for exercise 11-6 for figuring out what our direct material and our direct labor variances are. So they're manufacturing a cleaning compound, and they want to know what the direct labor, direct material variances are. So they've been giving you some standards here. So this is what they've just estimated based on previous experience, and then they give you some actuals. And this is how Chapter 11 usually works, where you're given standards and you're given actuals, and you got to know what to do with them. So it says 20,000 pounds of material was purchased. There's the cost. All the material was used. This is really important because if they purchased more than they used, then the variances will change slightly. But anyway, they used and produced 4,000 units, and then there's the direct labor time. So now I am actually going to take you back to our PowerPoint slides just to get you kind of familiar with what I'm talking about here. So this is the general model. So here we have AQ times AP, right? AQ times AP. Okay, and then we're going to subtract AQ, actual quantity, times standard price to come up with the price variance. Do you see how I'm going to use the actual quantity and keep that consistent, and then I'm going to take the actual price and subtract it from the standard price. So you can see, oops, since I'm keeping actual quantity consistent between here and here, the only thing I'm comparing is actual price versus standard price. All right, so now that I've got my AQ times AP and I've got this whole thing set up, now what I'm going to do, and I know you probably could have guessed this, but I took it into Excel. All right, so this is exactly the same problem. This is the standards. There's the standard quantity, there's the standard price, and that just multiplies them out. Okay, so it says during the most recent month, the activity was recorded, blah, blah, blah. So what am I going to do? Now, I'm going to take that formula that I just showed you, this one, the AQ times AP minus AQ times SP, to come up with our price variance. Okay, so I'm just going to type that like this: AQ, AP, AQ, SP, and then the other one, if we need it, which we might, there's the SQ, SP. Okay, so now it's just a matter of me plopping in the numbers. So they told me the actual quantity that they purchased at $2.35 per pound was 20,000 pounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and just type that in, 20, point. There we go. All right, and they told me the actual price they paid was $2.35, so I'll go ahead and plop that in. I'm going to multiply these together, and that's how much I paid. Okay, so now I have my AQ times my AP right there. Now, actual quantity, that number actually just transfers over because that's the actual quantity. So then I look back up on my standard cards right here, and I said, what should I have paid? Okay, and here's my direct material. I should have paid $2.50 a pound. Well, guess what? It looks like I'm going to be doing pretty good, because now I'm going to take this 20,000 pounds that I purchased, multiplied it times the $2.50, which is what I should have paid, and this is the amount that I should have paid for the materials that I purchased. Okay, so I'm doing pretty good. So now I'm just going to take the 50,000 and multiply it times, or subtract it from the 47, and I come up with a $3,000 price variance. Now, could I have done this a little bit easier? Yes, I could have. I could have taken the AQ and then done the AP minus the SP. So in our case, it would have been 20,000 pounds, and then in the parentheses my actual price was $2.35. Subtract that from the $2.50. Would I have gotten the same information? Yes, I would. So either way works, whichever way you prefer. And the last piece of information I need over here is, was that favorable or unfavorable? In this case, it was favorable. Why? Because, do you see that S there? To me, that stands for shoulda, otherwise known as my standard. So I should have paid $2.50. I actually paid $2.35. So I paid a little bit less, right? At the 20,000 pounds, I should have spent $50,000. Well, hallelujah, I only spent 47. So I've got $3,000 in my favor that I didn't spend. So now we'll go on to the second part of the question. All right, and this is where things get a little bit tricky. So now, okay, it said compute the material the material price and the quantity variance. So that is my price variance right there. Okay, so now that was this part of the formula. So now I'm going to work on this part of the formula. So I'd say the trickiest part of this is figuring out what the SQ is. How do I figure out what SQ is? What SQ means is the standard quantity. So it told me that it produced 4,000 units of Zoom. Do you see that? 4,000 units. That information is super important to me because using the 4,000 units that I produced, how much material should I have used? And it tells me right up here in my standards card that I should have used 4.60 pounds per unit. And since I'm manufactured 4,000 units, well then that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that 4.60 times that. That's how much material. Let's see, they produce a commercial cleaning compound known as Zoom. So that's how much material, direct material, I should have used manufacturing 4,000 pounds of Zoom. Well, you can see I actually used 20,000 pounds. So then that, do you see that SP? That SP doesn't change from here to here. So whatever the SP was over here, it's going to be over here. Okay, in other words, I'm isolating the pricing part. I don't care about the pricing part. I just wanted to know about the quantity. So I'm going to just take that over here. All right, then I'm going to multiply my standard quantity times my standard price. And what does this represent? This represents in the quantity how much I should have spent. So in other words, here, given the fact that I manufactured 4,000 units of Zoom, I should have only used $46,000 of quantity of material. All right, so now I've got to take the 46,000 and subtract it from the 50,000, and I am $4,000 unfavorable. Okay, so unfavorable. Okay, right? So, like, how does that even make sense? So this is what I should have used in material. Let's say I use bleach in as my cleaning compound in this Zoom thing. I should have used 18,400 pounds of bleach when I manufactured those 4,000 units of Zoom. Let's say those are like squirt bottles, okay? So I actually used 20,000 pounds. I should have used 18, actually used that, okay? So that's why I have an unfavorable, and look at that, I even have a spelling error over here on top of it. Okay, there we go. So, oh, and I have another spelling error over here. Hopefully you'll forgive me for that. Okay, so I have a $3,000 price variable that's favorable, a $4,000 quantity which is unfavorable. So what does that say to me? Well, I did a good job at purchasing cheaper material, but it looks like I had to use more of it. That's kind of what that says to me. Now, was there a shortcut for this, just like there was a shortcut for yet? Yes, there is. You could have taken SP, and then you could have taken the AQ minus the SQ, and that would have given you the same thing. So in this case, our standard price was $2.50. Then I would have taken the 18, let's see, I'll do it this way, the 20,000, and I would have subtracted the 18.4, and I would have gotten the same thing. Alrighty, so I hope that helps.